meet and greets, podcasts, special announcements, panels. We're going to be walking around. We're going to be meeting people. We're going to be networking. We're going to be having fun.
And we're premiering a piece of content. I'll be very vague. We have something to premiere at ComicCon.
You're listening to Studio 22.
Welcome to Studio 22. I'm your host, Will Meldman, here with Brock O'Hearn.
I'm also a host.
Yeah, we'll get to you. It's 9 a.m. on a Sunday, a.k.a. my Jesus time. What do I mean by that? Well, I go outside and I pray to Jesus who I should play in fantasy football. Is it Nico Collins or Michael Pittman? Is it Derrick Henry or Travis Etienne? Typically both. And then we go start the day. Or I'm asleep, dreaming about Jesus. But enough about me. Welcome, Brock. What do you do with your Jesus time?
Well, right after this, I'm actually going to church, so that's where I'll be.
Oh, God. Okay, so I am going to hell, I guess. Good for you. That's good. Real Jesus time. Like, not my superficial fake shit.
No, dude. I mean, if you are praying to Jesus, it's always a good thing, no matter what.
Yeah, whoever you're praying to.
Yeah.
You know, Sunday is a sacred day, for sure.
Jesus and football, baby.
All I know is you shouldn't be recording podcasts Sunday morning at 9 a.m. So
It does look really nice out right now, though.
yeah, it's beautiful. We have a really cool episode today. We no guest today because no one in their right mind would come be on a podcast at Sunday at 9 a.m. besides the crazy folks here at Studio 22. So we're going to talk a lot about Comic-Con. Comic-Con is this week. We're really, really excited for Comic-Con. LA Comic-Con, that is. And we have a lot of stuff to announce there. Some of this stuff we've kind of talked about before, but now it's set in stone and we have actual time frames for it all and coupon codes and discount codes and merchandise and a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah. December 1st to 3rd, which is Friday to Sunday, right?
Yeah.
So, what time the doors open? What is it, 9 a.m.?
Yeah, I think it's kind of pretty similar to 9 to 5 or 10 to 6 or something like that.
Yeah, I think it might be 10 to 6. I think that sounds about right. We'll fact check that. But, it's going to be a fun one. We're doing a huge activation. We got Kane all over the place out there. We got a special announcement you're only going to see on Sunday. And you got to be there. You got to be there, 4 p.m.?
Yeah.
4 p.m. Sunday.
And our panel.
We have a panel. What time's the panel?
1 p.m. on Sunday.
Yeah, 1 p.m. Sunday. And then we've got should we say it? It's Tuesday. Come out and see the Studio 22 trailer that we are going to be doing the podcast live out of. We've got a bunch of special guests that you can meet right there on the spot if you're there. You can watch the podcast live being recorded. You're going to see us, but it's this really amazing, massive trailer that's taking up a bunch of booths, and it's going to be right in the middle of Comic-Con, so it'll be easy to find us. Easy to find us. Yeah.
And Brock's already pretty easy to find at Comic-Con, too.
Yeah, we wanted to make it even easier. So that's what we did this year. But yeah, we've got a lot of stuff, a lot of big announcements, a lot of great guests. We're going to have a lot of fun. That's the main thing. And like you said, we've got a discount code for anybody that wants to come in. So what is it, 15, 20?
12% off.
12% off.
Day or weekend passes. If you use code Kane, Kane, all caps, on the LA Comic-Con website.
Just like this. Okay. Yeah, 12% off. So that's already... It's a pretty fair, pretty good deal already, and then add that on. It'll be nice. And then we're doing I actually don't know the time of this. We need to figure out what time are we doing the Klaus meet and greet.
Oh yeah, meet and greet at Klaus's booth. They have a massive booth. I think we are doing 11:30 around there on Saturday. It's like late Saturday morning. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll be doing a massive meet and greet. 11:30, Let's say 11 to be safe. And we'll put some details in the description, in the description. Right?
Yeah, I think once we know like where their exact
Yeah.
setup is and all that, we can.
Meet and greets, podcasts, special announcements, panels. We're going to be walking around. We're going to be meeting people. We're going to be networking. We're going to be having fun.
And we're premiering a piece of content. I'll be very vague. We have something to premiere at ComicCon.
Never before seen.
Yeah.
Poured a lot into this. Will poured a lot into this, and we're very excited.
You poured a lot into it too, of your soul.
In my voice.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're very excited about this one. Partnered with a really amazing company to develop it, and it's something we're excited to share. And that'll be on stage Sunday, the 4th. So if you come one day, that'll be a fun day to come with the panel and the on-stage announcements. And then we've got, just regular old Comic-Con, LA Comic-Con, bring your cosplay, bring your happy hats. I don't know what to say there, but just bring yourself and come come on down and let's have some fun.
Yeah, and big shout out to Rogue Matter, all the folks over at Rogue Matter. The comic studio that Kane is now a part of their family, and we're going to do a lot of announcements with them. Our booth is going to be with them, and Lineage Digital for some of the media work.
Yeah.
And some fun announcements with Lineage. But Rogue Matter shout out. We'll be with them a lot over the weekend. And they do great work. And they have tons of stuff they're announcing too.
Yeah.
They have like 7 franchises or something like that they're announcing.
New ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that I am most excited about with Comic-Con is we are announcing the first ever full volume of Kane. So we've got a first to last issue volume, 5 issues. The 5th issue is a big one. It's a really good one.
It's a banger.
We go through Kane's journey, your introduction to Kane and his world, this whole entire world, this universe that sets up everything that we've been developing for years and over thousands of years and multiple different I don't want to say timelines, but I can say timelines because it's different parts of time, right? But it's all part of the linear same timeline that we lead into to present day with Kane. But yeah, we've got a special edition first issue for trade available at Comic-Con, a Comic-Con LA special edition first issue.
Oh, yeah.
You'll only get it here, guys. You'll only get it at Comic-Con. So come by, come say hi, come check it out. If you want to hold it in your hands, if you want to get it signed by us, whatever you want to do, but just come say hi. Let's have some fun. And we're excited to bring this to you.
And that's something that we're doing with Rogue Matter, releasing that special edition version of issue 1. So shout out again to them. And, we're going to it's going to be cool. It's going to be really special. And, those are the types of things like, 5-10 years from now, you're like, you can't find those, right? Like we only do one print run of it and that's it. And then they exist, they're out there, but you can't find them again.
And that's what's really cool too, is that's if you want to collect, that's a unique collector's item that you're just not going to get unless you're there or you buy it in the aftermarket, get access to it. Someone gifts it to you, makes a great gift.
Yeah. Which is hard when they're so limited.
Yeah. Very limited run, but we're excited to bring it to you guys, and it's gonna be fun. It's just gonna be fun. We went last year.
We did.
Had a booth last year,
and I'm glad we did that last year, where we kind of we went in, we saw what it was about, we got our bearings, we had our booth, but this year, with the podcast setup and the trailer, and working with Rogue Matter on sharing a massive booth with them and all their other stuff. And then, the meet and greet with Klaus that we got scheduled. We're on a panel, and, a few other people, Chris Gore and Film Threat, they have a panel that we want to go to at some point.
yeah. And there's a bunch of people there. right? That
Oh, yeah.
a lot of people know. You know, it's most of the cast, all of the guys that played the Hobbits in Lord of the Rings.
Hobbits
All
from Lord of the Rings.
originals. We got one of your favorites, Dwight Schrute.
Rainn Wilson is
Rainn
going to be there
Wilson.
with some of the Office folks.
Logic's going to be there.
Logic.
Incredible artist, performing artist. But yeah, there's a massive list. There's some of the top cosplayers out there are going to be there. Some top actors, you know, are going to be there. And then stuff like the panel that you mentioned, you know, you're going to be able to come in, hang with us, ask us questions. We're going to be there. And it's just going to be fun. Like, you got to experience Comic-Con at least once.
It's a vibe for sure. But our panel, just to give a few more details, it's called Going Rogue in Hollywood. I believe like it might be longer than that. Going Rogue in Hollywood or something with Rogue Matter. And, you know, Brock and I will be on the panel talking about how do you carve out your own space in the indie film world and then also, you know, the Hollywood realm. So I'll kind of be approaching it more of like as an independent producer, and Brock will be approaching it more as like really from inside Hollywood, working with HBO, working with, you know, kind of Hollywood itself. And yeah, so that'll be cool. You'll have a lot of different fresh perspectives on the industry and from kind of different places, but that's a little more information on the panel itself at 1 p.m. on Sunday.
Yeah, so all in all, it's going to be fun. We're excited to meet everybody who comes through and everybody else new there. We're going to make a lot of friends, a lot of connections there. It's just the way it goes. I think when you're there and you see it, you know, it's a lot of people. How many people come through Comic-Con through the weekend? It's about
140,000 over 3 days.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of foot traffic, a lot of different personalities and artists and creators and different cosplay costumes. You know, you get to see a lot. So it's a very entertaining weekend. It's a very fun weekend. And then it's a collaborative weekend. You know, we're all there as creators, as escape artists, I want to call it. You know, people.
I mean, yeah.
It's a big form of escapism, right? So it's just, I think you got to have fun in life. I know you got to have fun in life. And I think if you can take yourself to a place that has a concentrated amount of, you know, whether it's anything from Pokemon to Rick and Morty to Lord of the Rings to, you know, Star Wars, that you get all of it. And then you get to find those elements that you grew up loving, that you love today. They're all little pieces of that. And then there's people around that love just as much, if not more, those things that you've used as inspiration or escapism or entertainment or whatever it may be for whatever it is. It's all there in one place, you know. It's a pretty cool thing.
Well said, and totally, dude. It's, you know, kind of talking about this last night, like you can't really look anywhere in the world right now and not see some type of conflict, whether it's election season coming up or wars abroad. You know, and I think it's a good time for Comic-Con to, you know, remind us, you know, how to have some fun and really that sense of community, like you said, is probably the strongest part of it. And it doesn't matter what franchise you're a fan of, you're there for the sense of community. And, you know, that's what I'm definitely looking forward to the most, is talking to everybody.
Yeah. Yeah,
we need it now more than ever, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And we're going to get it. We're going to get it at Comic-Con. So one thing that I came back here the other day, a nice little surprise.
Oh, good transition.
My boys, Spencer and Will and Spencer, were working on a little something. And I had no idea what it was going to be. Didn't know what to expect, and I was very, very pleasantly surprised.
Were you?
I was.
Nice.
It was very impressive, unexpected, and very what's the right word? I welcome it. I want some more of it.
So to give a little more context, Spencer and I, you know, really all of us, but Spencer and I were meeting and we've always kind of been talking about doing like a jam session. Like, you know, we've all had like some form of musical experience, and Spencer is really, really good at guitar and on all the tech, and a lot of music is tech right now. And, you know, Spencer having that skill set, we're like, damn, dude, like, let's start rocking a little bit. Let's, you know, bust out your guitar. I'm like, you want to do a little jam sesh? He's like, my guitar is in my car, baby. Boom, we went out and got it, and we just started jamming. And you know, we want to share what we want to, first off, for the first time ever, have our producer Spencer come on the show. Hopefully he did his makeup today, and you know, doesn't say anything too inappropriate on Jesus Day. But come on in, Spence. Let's talk about this with you.
You're only allowed to speak in song.
Oh, like the Marvels, you mean?
What was that? Is that what happened in the Marvels?
Yeah, there's a scene in the Marvels. I haven't seen the movie. I just saw the trailer.
You're gonna experience the glaring sun.
Am I?
Oh, maybe you'll do something about it now.
Oh my gosh. Studio 22. What's
Welcome,
up,
Spencer.
boys?
You may have heard Spencer's voice from time to time, checking some facts, fixing some things in the background, but now you get to put a face to it. He's our amazing, badass producer, and also a very talented musician, and first and foremost, friend.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. How's it going, man? Good morning.
Hey, good morning. I'm feeling pretty good, although I didn't really get like a whole lot of sleep last night because I had to be here at 9.
Oh.
Told you.
Did you? Was that? That was not this week where you were doing. It was Thursday.
No, yeah.
Producing till 3 a.m.
Yeah.
You had to be here at 9. Yeah. Well, dude, we're glad you're here, and I'm glad that we started at 10:45.
Yeah, me too.
Where were you?
What do you
Lies.
mean? I was here.
What were you doing?
I was setting up the podcast.
You were in the bathroom for quite a bit, actually. It's good.
Got him. So let's walk everybody through what we did. And by the way, who's gonna play it if you're sitting here?
Can you play it on the phone into the mic, or are you guys playing it like?
Oh, that's
through the
not a bad
computer?
idea.
I could just play it in post.
Okay. So
We'll just-
pause for play.
Yep.
And we're back. Spencer played both parts of the guitar and recorded them separately and then overlapped them, right? Played back and then played it on top. What is like the most important thing in your mind when you're kind of going back in to record that second guitar when you already have the first one recorded? What do you look for when you're trying to, you know, fill that second part in? Because I was curious about that too. It's like, how do you time that? How do you feel?
I think it's about making sure the pieces fit together and that they all serve the overall vision of what the song should be. You shouldn't just add more stuff for the sake of adding more stuff, if that makes sense.
So
Yeah.
you shouldn't just add more cowbell.
Well,
Oh, we wanted to add
we
cowbell.
always- I think we
That'll
still
be
might.
me. I'll come
Yeah.
in. I'll come in the back.
We were making some cowbell jokes. We did add a little tambourine though. Little
Sure did.
tambourine, man.
Dude, I love the tambourine. Shakers? You
It's-
kidding me?
It's a good little atmosphere.
Little salt shaker.
I try to put that in like every song.
But yeah,
Very nice.
it's funny because like I'm asking a question about it, even though when we were there working on it, it was very like you're just in the moment and you're trying things out and you're seeing if it sounds good or if it feels good.
Right.
So it's hard to kind of put a label on any like, why do you do this? Oh, well, because it sounds good or it feels good,
Right.
right? But
Well, I think too, it really helps having someone else to bounce ideas off of, because I could play something that I think sounds good, and you're like, "Whoa, what was that?" Like that wasn't even close, you know. And I think like that's so valuable and so important that like the people in the room can lend their opinions.
right.
Like, I think that's such a huge and sometimes overlooked aspect of music production. You know, like because a lot of times the technology is at a point where you can make everything in your bedroom. You don't need anybody else.
Billie Eilish.
Right. But even her, like her and her brother are making the records together.
That's true.
So they're bouncing ideas off. Like having someone else in the room to be able to do that with.
Phineas.
Yeah, man, it's so key.
And I think having that creative, like, we edit together every week, right?
Right.
Like all three of us do, but like us two also. So like having positive, creative communication, we already had that.
Yeah,
So then we kind of just applied it to music, right?
absolutely.
And what was that book you were reading last night? I forgot which one.
Reinventing comics,
Was that
understanding comics.
Where they spoke about having 1,000 different artists or comic creators.
Yeah,
whatever,
I think
all
that was reinventing.
Reinventing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it was one of the two, but it was in there, and it was saying there you can put 1,000 artists in one place, right? And then unless you put them in the same room, or once you put them in the same room, or even put one or two in the same room, make it 3, make it 4, whatever, however many or how little you want to do, they will undoubtedly, without question, start help or taking influence from each other or helping each other, right? So when you come to music with you guys, that's where you're creating something together. You know, it's not just like Spencer's vision or Will's vision, and then that's it, and it is what it is. It's like, no, there's going to be the way you strum the guitar or play certain notes, or there's going to be, you know, your idea of where you want to go with the song, and the way, the feel or the tone that you want to have, or whatever it is, and you come together, and then you find that happy medium, and then now you have this little song baby that is now going to be potentially, definitely the new intro for studio, right?
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's like definitely a process, and you want to be respectful of each other's ideas while still kind of being sure about what you want. And we were just pretty much on the same page the whole time, though, of like, you know, a new sound would come up, and we both just kind of knew like that those are the drums we're looking for. Those are not the droids you're looking for. No, but you know, I think a lot of that too is Spencer's talent, like on that technology, because he really is able to like bring up 30 different new instruments and then insert them, take them out, figure out if they work or not. You know what? Because there's unlimited options you can add.
Yeah.
So if you're not in the right ballpark, even on that stage,
Yeah.
right?
2002 GarageBand, that's what you're using?
Yeah. Well, the 2001 version's better, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I actually believe you when you say that. No, that's awesome. What are you? What is it? Logic, or what's the software you like to use?
I'm using Ableton. So for the longest time, I was on Pro Tools, but Pro Tools does a subscription model, and they wouldn't let me renew my subscription, and it was just, it was super annoying. And I think they've taken enough of my money. Ableton.
I was gonna say my credit card stopped working or something.
No.
We did that for a while. I remember for the other podcast. Yeah, no, that's funny. They wouldn't do that. Interesting. I've had some weird hiccups with stuff like that. Uber, for example.
Right.
Done with Uber.
Dude, I'm saying. And so I don't know. I think, especially in this city, I've noticed like the best producers and best beat makers are using Ableton. Like the people who are more like mixing engineers, they're using Pro Tools.
Yeah.
But to like actually like get something on the canvas and like make a beat, Ableton is the simplest, most user friendly, and I love it.
Awesome. That's what I was going to ask. Is what's the difference there? And it seems like it's just an easier, more user friendly process. Then, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And like that's really good to know too. That's good advice. Like
Yeah.
Spencer has spent tons of time in a studio, you know, engineering music with, you know, professional musicians. And, you know, if I was out there trying to figure out like which one to use or whatever, I'd definitely take that advice.
You know, it's like we're talking with when we talked with Chef Gordon, and he says finding a mentor. You know,
Yeah.
and one of the things that I've always known or seen is that success leaves clues, right? So if you're over there working on music and you want to take it seriously, take your career seriously, well, success leaves clues. What's everyone using that's
Right.
doing it? Ableton, right? So if that's the case, then you did a smart decision on your part by going and figuring out that software and using it, and it's only going to help you further, right? It's just,
Hell yeah.
same thing with the film industry, same thing with the comic industry, with every industry, really. It's like
100%.
some people have already paid the path, and then there's other people that are, you know, new in like Panavision, for example, or any of these like camera companies or software companies or whatever. Everyone will come in every now and again, George Lucas, and create something that nobody's ever seen or done before.
Yeah.
but then other people will use that blueprint to go create their own stuff, you know?
Right.
Dude, it's crazy you said that too, because before we did the jam sesh, I was showing Spencer how to use Cinema 4D and animate things, add special effects, work the cameras within that in like crazy advanced software for, visual effects and all that.
It is.
I know, I've seen it.
But, Jerry Weintraub told me in like 2005, if you want to be successful in the film industry, CGI is the future.
Yeah.
And like, obviously that was the case. Everything is CGI now. I mean, I couldn't have even predicted how much he was right,
Well, even AI being a form of that, I guess you could say.
Oh yeah.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
for sure.
A
For
very
sure.
advanced form, right?
Yeah. Yeah. AIs are computers. CGI is computer generated imaging. Yeah.
Right.
But it's really nice having someone that's fluent in that technology language, right? Because you can do so many things in a short period of time. We were trying all this different stuff. We were taking it in. But yeah, it made it really fun.
Dude, hell yeah.
I had a blast doing that, dude.
Dude, me too. Me too, man. And yeah, it's super cool to see you like how quickly you picked up Cinema 4D, and like.
Oh yeah, I was talking about the music.
I mean, yeah,
but thank you.
that was like your version of like you were the captain
right.
on the Cinema 4D, and then
Right.
I was the captain on the music. But it was really cool the way that song came together though too, because it started with, I mean, I just like picked the guitar up and started plucking around, but then you came up with the lyrics, and we don't know if we're gonna even use them or not. We don't necessarily. have to
Yeah,
keep
we were
this in.
just having fun.
Right, but when you came up with the lyrics, that's what inspired me to come up with the guitar riff.
Yeah,
So it's cool that we like bounce ideas off each other like that.
definitely.
You know?
And like one idea leads to another,
Right.
and it doesn't matter which ones you keep or which ones you. Yeah.
So what you're saying, for anybody who's listening or watching right now, is that in 2024 there will be at the very least a Will and Spencer Studio 22 EP released to the public.
Well, why just Will and Spencer? If it's Studio 22, Brock has
Yeah,
to be on
bro.
it too.
I need to learn the software and do something.
Hey, you don't need to learn any software. You just need to bring
Nah,
that beautiful
dude.
voice you
Buddy.
got.
Rise up.
Uh-huh.
Ladies,
That's awesome. No, dude, I was really stoked when I came back to see you guys doing that, and it's cool, man.
It was
That's
so
cool.
much fun.
Creating.
Yeah.
I would say for me is the biggest lesson of 2023 that I've learned is whether it's in film, whether it's writing, whether it's seeing what you've done, Will. Same with you, Spencer, with your music. Anybody that's doing anything is not waiting for something to happen. They're creating. So it's how can we create on the highest level? How can we bring our gifts to the table and to help serve the world? Like, what can we do to create? And the more you create, like I've been listening to a lot of Rob Dyrdek,
Mm-hmm.
listening to his
love
podcast
that
the other day. Yeah, dude, his mindset is phenomenal. First off, like growing up as a skater, you look up to him, and then you see Fantasy Factory, you
World
see all this stuff.
Industries.
Yeah, man, I was there for that. And you see that, and then you see this guy now who has this incredible mindset, and he's literally preaching all the time about creating, and how can I create this and do that, and it's not like you're not sitting back in a passenger seat waiting for it to happen. You're driving the car, you know what I mean? And I know that doesn't sound very deep, but at the end of the day, look at
That's
all of your
important.
favorite things in the world. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, our phones, Steve Jobs with Apple. Look at people with Elon Musk. He's creating Tesla in general, but also SpaceX and what's
Neuralink.
Starlink and Neuralink, and it's like it's one thing after another, and then you look at the same
Neuralink
film.
trips me out though. I don't know.
Yeah, it is trippy. Yeah, it'd be really cool if it does help people with neurological issues.
That's
or,
true.
Or
That's true.
Like I think that, but if it turns to the next step where it's like, which I guess you can already have the argument that we are cyborgs with our phones,
kinda
right? It's just
are.
not connected.
Oh, dude. So this is a subject for another time. I just want to briefly bring it up. Patrick Bet David, PBD,
Yep. Love it.
he's great. Super smart, on top of it.
Yeah.
He did an interview with this guy who wrote a book. He was a plumber who worked on like hyper secret government facility in Antarctica.
Plumbing?
And yeah, as a plumber.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And
Still need plumbers.
dude, I'm telling you, man, the PBD is like, so you mean to tell me that, the government has all this mind control stuff. They're constantly mind controlling everyone. He's like, what is a cell phone? And then he's like, well, they can record you, they can hear you,
They can see 360
put
view with
messages
two
directly
cameras,
into
right.
your head and your face.
Yeah.
They can do all these, and it's like, oh, okay. And he's like, so you realize that is when you torture someone, what is that? It's exhaustion, it's paranoia, it's repetitive questioning. That's
It's
the
the news.
exact same. You got there before I said it.
Oh, sorry.
No, I like exactly. Like
Yeah.
it's just a different form.
Yeah.
You're constantly berated with the same information over and over again until you're just like, fine.
Yeah. Until you submit to it, essentially, right?
It's just a different form of torture.
We were talking about something totally separate than this last night, Will, but with who was the person you were talking about? We were talking about it when you watch a TV or your phone or whatever it is, where you're fully in a subconscious mode, right?
Eckhart Tolle.
Eckhart Tolle.
Yeah.
So and then versus reading a book where you're fully present and be able to digest that information just completely differently.
Right.
And then I wonder how much with what you just brought up, being in a subconscious state, you're able to be, I guess, mind controlled or manipulated, or your perception changed to a degree, right? And
Oh yeah, way more susceptible.
Yeah, which is, I love TV and film. It's my life, right? But like, you'd be a fool if you don't go back and look at even the 1950s ads in a movie theater. And it's all, go buy popcorn, go buy candy, do this, and it's like right in front of your face. And now it's become to the point where they realized, I think they can do it in a split second.
Oh, yeah.
The eyes can't even see it, but the subconscious and your mind can pick it up, right? And you see that in film and TV, you see that in the news, you see that all over the world with content in general, right?
100%. It's not only is it in the programming we watch, like in the TV shows or in the films, but it's also clearly in the advertisements. And you are in a state of unconsciousness when you're watching TV. You are not above thought, you are below thought. And absolutely way more susceptible to that. But anyway, that's why we were all so excited about the comic books and how like ComicCon and comics, because comics are reading. Like reading is hyper consciousness, because you're like super focused, you're actually learning, engaged, you're holding something, it's like way better for you than watching TV.
Yeah.
And we're like, people have been looking at pictures and reading for thousands of years. This TV thing is still relatively very new.
Yeah.
So yeah,
there's a
comics are good, TV's bad.
but TV's also good.
I know.
And
We love
so is
TV.
film, right? It's like it's
you just gotta not sit there for 12 hours on the couch watching TV. It's everything in moderation.
Yeah.
And some of like the most amazing stories are able to be told through TV, through film, right? And brought back to life, or revisited or even imagined in a totally different way. So there's like that element that's just so cool in the creation aspect of like, but there are elements of, if there's a conversation that's to be had, it's probably, to me, I forgot who said this so I could like back it up and actually sound smart, but it's always been, unless you can disprove it, unless you can prove 100% without a doubt that it's not real, I believe that it is possible.
Oh yeah.
So it's even if you tell me there's a alien race living on a planet 7 trillion light years away that only walks around in speedos and talks in Spanish, which I don't know, it could be, unless you prove me wrong, there's a chance, But do you know what I mean?
I love that example.
I want to go there.
But it's that, yeah, it would be cool to see that actually. But
oh man.
it's one of those things. So like you can have the conversation of, is there some kind of probably programming in film and TV from time to time, or the news or our phones or what? Yeah, probably. Is there probably the exact opposite of that, where it's purely just pure good content, there's all kinds of different forms of content and
Yeah.
conversation. And that's why I love, there's this cult classic, Roddy Piper. Do you guys ever seen They Live?
Mm-mm.
You've never seen the film They Live. You guys, that is your homework for today. It doesn't have to be today, but anytime.
Wait, maybe I have. Let me see.
Yeah.
Keep going,
So
keep going.
essentially, it's this cult classic. I love this film because it's so funny that he finds these glasses, these sunglasses, right? And what happens is he puts them on, and it basically shows you everything that's subconsciously being pushed on you.
Oh, interesting.
So you'll see like a billboard, for example, and I forgot, one of the examples within the film. It's been a while since I've seen it, but like, let's say it's, two people sitting there laughing, right? And it's underneath the subconscious information that's going into your mind is consume or buy or
Right.
whatever the thing may be. And then it shows like the glasses also show like which people in the world are like reptilians or whatever too. So it's like it's kind of a cool, like,
It's kind of sick.
it's just a fun concept, I think, but it opens up your eyes to advertising, right? And why advertising works. There's a reason, our minds are more prevalent to certain colors, like think about fast food,
Right. Yep.
Burger King, McDonald's.
They all got yellow and red.
Exactly. Why do you have yellow and red? It's because of the way it affects your mind, right? And it's a quick, it's fast and it's quick, but it also makes you like choose quickly. It makes you stop and then make a decision right there on the spot. But there's psychology behind colors, and I'm doing a horrible job of explaining the psychology. But that film alone is something that I think is so fun because it just opens up your mind, whether it's real or not. Whatever. It's just more of like, there is something else that people have had ideas about, that there's some like, I don't know what the subliminal messaging behind that, but like I would say it's
if you're a werewolf,
You
Brock's
know
gonna
what it
beat
is.
you up with that.
subliminally. Exactly. It's subliminally a sick story and a lot of fun. So enjoy.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but
No more carbs.
oh, you need a lot of carbs to get a body like that, dude.
Well, enlighten us.
Yeah. If you sign up for the Discipline app, you will find out.
Great
Oh
plug.
man.
Yeah.
But back to your point about the subconscious. I mean, you absolutely need to be mindful of what you put in front of your eyes.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's your subconscious is
Feed your mind.
it's always on, but it's also not always recording, right?
Well, dude, you're totally right, because think about it. It takes energy to be conscious.
Right.
You have to like literally breathe, like get your breathing, maybe look away from the TV and like feel that awareness inside of you, and then go back to watching. And like that takes energy. That's why the torture method of exhaustion and repetitiveness works, because there will be a time when you don't have that energy and it can get through.
Yep.
And it may not be the first time, but it'll be the 100th time.
Yeah.
And like that's why that method is proven.
Yep.
But yeah, we're talking like, obviously, if you're just watching a TV show and you like
Right.
it, like it's not going to affect
Yeah.
you at all.
All I'm
Just
saying is, if anybody decides to go make a show about a plumber going to some government base in Antarctica,
I got to get that.
that'd be
book.
pretty
Let me
dang cool to
figure it out.
see, dude.
I'm gonna figure out the name of that book, because
They'd probably get shut down.
Yeah, but there's so many like I don't want to say random, but there's so many different like what's the guy's name? I never like when I forget somebody's name, but Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind, Third Kind.
Oh, I was gonna say Bob Proctor, but it's not. No, it's
Oh, I got it.
Bob is Lazar.
Bob Lazar. There you go.
Yeah, so Bob Lazar, right?
He was
Somebody
like
who-
a Bob Lazar guy. Yeah.
Was he? And that's cool to hear, because like as even again, if it's not real, whether it is or it isn't, right? That's like exciting for a normal person to hear, because you're like, can you imagine a plumber finding out all this crazy mind control information, right? Or Bob Lazar saw an alien spaceship. He knows how to contact alien. Like it's the what if,
Right.
that's exciting.
He's an ex-Raytheon whistleblower. His name's
shit.
Eric Hecker.
What is Raytheon?
They're like they
They're like Lockheed
they're a defense
Martin. They're-
contractor.
Okay,
They
yeah.
make
okay.
weapons.
Gotcha.
He was former member of the Navy, firefighter and plumber, South Pole facility. But, he was basically talking about what I was saying about like, they figured out the government can do that to us through media over long term,
I believe
instead of like a direct interrogation. They have headphones now that can literally go directly they like vibrate with your inner ear bone and go directly to your brain, right?
Yeah.
And he was
The
saying
sunglasses,
like
right?
you don't need to put those headphones in to get that. They can transmit that sound out.
Wow.
They can transmit those radioactive waves. And they got into like because he was like Men Who Stare at Goats. He was like a medium, one of those people who can like
That's awesome.
convey thoughts or read minds or whatever. But PBD kept pushing back. Like, he mentioned, okay, this is the trippiest part, which believe or don't believe, it's all good. But he was saying the U.S. government has the ability to cause an earthquake in anywhere on the planet because of that Antarctica facility.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I've
Where-
seen Ocean's 11, dude.
Right. But no, dude. But literally, like, U.S. presidents threaten third world countries with that all the time, he was saying.
That's crazy.
And like Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, they all have that tech. And he was saying he worked at one of those facilities in Antarctica because you can do it by transmitting radio waves or electromagnetic waves to the plates. They drill into the ice in Antarctica and they put these really expensive like battery transmitters down there. And all they have to do is shift or buzz one of the polar ice cap tectonic plates and boom, earthquake happens in Angola.
Wow.
So
crazy.
like you can believe that or not believe it, but we do know that military tech is always 20 years ahead of it reaching the public, right?
Yeah, that's what.
So, yeah.
I was told that when I was like 5 years old. I had some conspiracy theorist people in my family that were nuts. There were some drugs involved in some of these people's lives, but hearing some of the stuff that I heard as a kid and then seeing it come through true 20 with credit cards with all kinds of different stuff 20 years later,
Yeah.
we're kind of heading in those directions, and it's like, okay, I understand if a lot of conspiracy theories are crazy, right, or out of this world, right?
But you're totally right, dude. We're not sitting here saying we believe the military has X. We're not saying we believe, they did Y. We're just like, these
That's
are
what-
people out there that are writing books and whistleblowing, and here's what they're saying.
Right.
Make your own opinion.
I'm not sitting here saying that a movie called They Live is admitting that there's either some glasses or reptilians running the whole. Like I'm just saying it's a fascinating ideal.
Yeah.
It's entertaining to me, and
We're in the
idea of
business of storytelling.
Yeah,
it.
and so I find that stuff entertaining or fascinating because like what my mind does personally is I immediately go to like, would that be a cool movie?
Right.
Would that be a cool story? Is that like
Or comic book.
like World War Z, dude? I love that movie. Brad Pitt and zombies and like it's crazy. It's like that's a innate fear that a lot of us have. Like we see zombies walking around all the time in downtown Los Angeles, or like
Unfortunately.
whether they're on their phones or drugs have affected their life or their minds are lost, and like it's life is tough and it affects us all differently. But like the idea of a mass zombie Walking Dead, it's a innate fear because I think we know it might be possible.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Speaking of zombies, my zombie comic book, Desert Heat, is
Bringing it back into the comics, baby.
coming
That's what we got.
out soon.
Dude,
I'm gonna have some more announcements at ComicCon, and me and Penny trek the zombie apocalypse. Desert Heat. Look out for that. But yeah, I had to get that plug
Great
in real
plug.
quick.
Hell
Great
yeah.
plug.
Thank you. But yeah, like, they're just interesting to consider. We're not saying anything's right or wrong. We're just like, I think nowadays it's so fucking important, dude, to like make your own opinion and don't believe the news at face value. Get other sources, right? Like it's essentially all news has like a left leaning thing, except for Fox, which leans a little right. So depending on what news source you're watching,
Right.
maybe get another version of it. Maybe look it up online and read 5 articles and not one.
Yeah.
And like, I just think we're losing independent thought. We're losing like that curiosity to go find out shit on your own and just be like, okay, well, he's saying this. Oh, well, he owns the Washington Post.
Right.
So he'll probably have a bias. Like,
Right.
it's like, not to pick on the Washington Post. I'm just using that as an example. But I just would encourage everyone to be a free thinker out there, and don't just disbelieve the government because you think the government lies all the time, obviously, either.
I've been guilty of that.
But
one.
just try to get multiple sources. Yeah.
And to branch off what you said, Will, I think too it's important to understand like who is paying for these news sources.
Yep.
Like who's advertising on there. Because,
Always follow the money.
Yeah, because that's gonna be a bias, right? It's like
Undoubtedly.
yeah, it's like if a certain company is paying for advertising on your network, you're not gonna print or publish anything that makes them look bad.
What was
Yep.
it? I just heard.
Good point.
It was Dana White and Theo Vaughn. It was a clip of him.
I
Did
saw
you see
this
that
too,
clip?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was talking about how he had RFK Jr. on, and then the advertisers called, Theo Vaughn did. He said he's been friends with him for 9-10 years. He had him on, and the advertisers called and said, we're not going to advertise on this, take it down, like do this, do that, like trying to control it. And Dana White was on the opposite side of it of like, I did that. He posted something about Trump, right? And then the advertisers called him.
Oh, you said the T word
I know. And RFK Jr., right?
and the R word.
Yeah, but his whole point was Dana White was like, you can't tell me like we live in America with free speech and I'm allowed to vote and view. It doesn't matter if you're left, you're right, or whatever you want to be. He was saying, I'm not going to let some advertisers who are trying to give me money and advertise on my platform tell me what to do with my right as an American to vote for whoever I want. And it could be the same thing if he was talking about Obama or if it was Trump. It doesn't that's not the point. The point is you have the right to vote and believe in whoever you want and for whatever reasons you want. That's part of why we're here, right?
Get politics out of culture, dude.
Yeah. But
Like,
it's to the
so,
point.
Yeah.
It's to the point of what you're saying is like, well, a lot of people think because you have the money, you have the power, which is it's kind of true to a degree, right? But it comes down to, your belief system, what you're willing to stand up to, and kind of go that route. But I just thought it was fascinating because not a lot of people will stand up to that, and again, not a lot of us are, Dana White with billions of dollars. But,
Dude, we're at the point in America where one political party believes that they are vastly better and more morally superior than the other. And they accuse the other of being backwards and the worst type of people you could possibly accuse people of being. And that's not healthy. And it's wrong, first off. It's not fucking true. And it's really, really bad. And it makes for an incredibly toxic political situation. And we need to get over that first and foremost. You need to start looking at your neighbor as a neighbor and not the fucking enemy. Because you look at them as an enemy long enough, they're going to be your enemy.
Yeah. It's a great point. But to your point though, we're all people, man, and we're all in this together. And if all shit and hell breaks loose, everything goes to shit and all hell breaks loose, what happens? We all suffer.
Right.
And we're already all suffering. To live is to suffer.
Right.
So why not do our best to just, it's not easy to get along, especially when people have different belief systems, but at the end of the day, like, we're all here together.
Right.
That's what they say, with astronauts when they go to space and they look down, right? Is it changes their perspective and you realize, oh, we are just a species surviving on this planet together. But for some reason, I don't know why, I do know why to a degree, we can't get along.
Right.
And why? We all have the same basic needs. We got to sleep, we got to breathe, we got to drink water, we got to eat,
I think humans have this horrible self-hatred of they understand that they are animals, right? We look at each other and we go, okay, we do these things on a daily basis, like you said, we're disgusting. And I think there's an element of self-hatred of our animalistic nature that is deeply rooted in society, where it's
It's funny because I love that part of me.
I know, me too. It's the part that grows muscle.
Chest hair.
And chest hair. Yeah, so I think there's a lot of like deep-rooted psychological things there where it's like, you're totally right, man. Yeah. We got to accept each other and get past all this. And, ComicCon's a great place for that.
Yeah,
and I'm looking forward to come together with a lot of different communities and talk comics and books and movies and shows and
Yeah.
meet a lot of cool people and just enjoy being human, because humans also create beautiful works of art like Kane.
Yeah.
And
And
Desert Heat.
that's one of those things, is whatever you inundate yourself with on a regular basis is what your perception is going to be. It's like, and it's like, I remember it was reading the thing about humans are the only creatures on Earth that can change their environment and survive.
Right.
You can live on water for, months and years at a time, right? If you can support yourself, you can drink water, you can fish, you can live off that, right? You can go to Antarctica and survive. You can go live in Africa. You can live in New Zealand. You can live in Canada. You can live wherever you want to live, right? A deer can't do that. A deer can only live in the woods.
Yeah, they have their habitat.
Yeah, a turtle can, a sea turtle can only live in the sea, right? And that's where we can change our psychology or our lives. I don't know if it's psychology necessarily, but you can change your psychology if we switch our positions, right? So the same thing happens with the information that we're digesting on a regular basis. If we're going to keep taking in negative, crazy things, it's going to affect us whether we like it or not. We are habitual creatures. We are who we surround ourselves with and what we surround ourselves with. It's our nature.
Right.
It's just the way we're built. It's the same thing with the artists. You take 1,000 artists, once you start to put them together, they start to influence each other. That's how we work. So if we're able to sit back.
Hell, women, get on the same cycles. Like it happens like in the physical realm too. It's like actual science.
So it's that too. So I think what the best thing we can do is find the ways that we can be as healthy as possible, right? Like if you need to turn off an hour extra of the news today and go meditate or, do something healthy or communicate with somebody you love, and like connect or whatever it is. I don't know what the magic formula, because we're all different, right? But we have the ability to change that and to make a better life for ourselves. So if you're sitting there, like imagine how different my life would be if I went and worked in Washington, D.C. for the White House versus and there's nothing wrong with that. That's not my point. My point is versus going and being a monk for 10 years.
Right.
I'm gonna live two completely different lives, right?
Yeah.
And I think when we come down to the conversation of why our lives are the way we are, why society is the way it is, like we got to just realize, what are we doing with our lives every day? How are we all working together in this ecosystem, in this society, in this world? Are we working in a good way or in a bad way? And there's always going to be good and bad. There's going to be ebbs and flows. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be negative and positive. But if we all can just work on healing, loving ourselves, loving each other, and becoming the best version of ourselves, whatever that looks like for each of us, it's very difficult to do, and it's a challenge. But everything that's worth having doesn't come easy.
Right.
So I think just moving forward, if we just try to do one good thing every day in some way for somebody, eventually we'll get to the point where it's not this person versus that person.
Self-love, healing, you're totally right, man. And you can't change other people.
Yeah.
You can only do it yourself. So just focus on you and try to get better every day.
I think with the current state of the world, it's like we all have had that thought of like, well, what if somebody releases a nuke, Well, then it's all over. Then what are we even complaining about?
Right.
Yeah.
What's the point? Because because what's going to happen? This is one thing that could unite the world, right? If a massive asteroid was coming to destroy Earth, I don't think our problems are going to be that big anymore. That was the thing for me. Like I'm getting pretty deep here.
Well, no, real quickly on that point, like that's why America was so united in the 20th century, because we constantly had a, huge threat to the country. It was World War I, World War II, we had, Vietnam, so like, and then we had September 11th even.
Yeah.
And that was a point someone was making, and it's like, do we really need that, people?
No.
Like, can we please just focus on how lucky we are to live in this country and have the rights that we do and the access to everything and medicine and food? Like, can we just accept that that's freaking amazing and like treat each other well?
Right.
That's one of the biggest things I've seen. I know we got to rock here real soon, but in my life is I had the lowest point I could have, right? And I wanted to end it all. And I remember laying down, staring at the stars, and like trying to find my way out. Like I just a way to hold on. And I remember I'm laying looking at the stars, and it's tough when you're in a big city, light pollution, you don't get to really see the stars, right? But what happens is you realize how big the universe is. You realize how expansive it is, how much is out there, how many people are in the world, and that even the world becomes small, and you keep going and going, going in your mind farther out, and how far these stars are and how far these planets are, and like potential life out there, whatever it is. I'm just saying, when you realize how small you are, well, all of a sudden, those problems that are wrecking you or overtaking you or consuming your life, all of a sudden those become small too. And you realize if a massive event happens, right? Or, that thing that's worrying you so much is going to push you to the edge. Well, it's really not, it becomes not that big anymore. Right. And you get to zoom out and look at the whole perspective, the perspective as a whole. And then you get to come back in and you're like, that shit that was effing me up, I can survive. People have survived more. They've been through more. We've been through more.
Perspective is key.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of like zooming out, taking a macro look, and then come back in and taking a breath,
Absolutely.
So I don't know. That's if that helps anybody out there. I don't know, but it helped me and it changed my life. So
A little perspective, man. Absolutely.
yeah.
Hell yeah. The LA ComicCon, December 1 to 3.
Yep.
We have a panel at 1 p.m. on Sunday. We have a big announcement on Sunday at 4 p.m. after the panel.
On main stage.
We have the Studio 22 setup. We have our Rogue Matter booth. We have the signing at Klaus's booth on Saturday at around 11. Tons of things going on. Amazing people, guests. And Studio 22, brought to you by BP, Pfizer, and Raytheon.
Oh my gosh. We just got demonetized. No, and on that point, this is one last thing. If you're coming to LA Comic Con, use our code Kane. You get 12% off, whether it's a day pass or a weekend pass. No matter what, you get that discount, that coupon, and come say hi. Come find us. Like Will said, I'm easy to find. We'll be easy to find. We have a whole row there that you probably won't miss. And we're excited. Let's go have some fun.
Hell yeah. Thanks, boys.
Play that track one more time.
One more time.
DJ, hit that track. Thank you for watching Studio 22.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
And follow our socials at Studio 22 Podcast.